Hey everybody, this is Kyle. It's your boy Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine, aka Vulcan Wolverine 2. I hope everybody's doing well today. I might wait for some people to get in chat real quick. Let me see. Let me go to my chat. Um, yeah, I'll wait a couple of seconds. I wanted to today. Well, I kind of want to start out. Like I got gang stalked really heavily today. I had to go to the health food store. Hey Sam, how you doing? Sam says, "What's up? How you doing? You getting through this okay? Are you a targeted individual, Sam?" Um, this morning, and like I walked out to get into my car, and I had two helicopters fly over me. I think they were police helicopters. And then like I pulled out of my, and I got this next part on tape. I pulled out of my driveway of my condo, and the next apartment beside the condo, this SUV with one light pulled out and just drove behind me until the main street. And I got that on tape. My vehicular stalking's been pretty bad, but physically I feel better. So I'm kind of thinking there's some kind of correlation there. Hey, artist of El Elion, El Elion says, "Hey Kyle, what's good? Nothing much, El Elion. Today I was gonna pull some strength from my friends and my family. I was gonna read a prayer to get started for my friend Blair. It's a really good prayer, and then I wanted to read an article out of the newspaper that my 90-year-old grandmother found about the proliferation of AI surveillance. And then my mom sent me like an article on 5G, um, like a scathing article on 5G, where it talks about 5G being basically a global experiment, building that infrastructure up, and it's just irradiating everybody. Which I want to kind of do a targeted individuals perspective, because the introduction of 5G is building up this targeting infrastructure, because they had this infrastructure with 4G microwave towers, ground radar, over the horizon radar, satellites in low orbit, and actually not even in orbit, but under the atmosphere, just filling the sky. And now they're going to put up all these 5G towers, and they're going to build smart cities, and all this non-ionized microwave radiation is just going to get more and more all around us. So we're targeted individuals are the extreme case, but it seems like this infrastructure is being built up to just irradiate everyone. So the new satanic paradigm of worldwide genocide, building this vast microwave infrastructure and millimeter wave infrastructure. Hey, Lion and Lamp. Lion and Lamp says they do the hologram police helicopters to many people. I don't think these were holograms. It was like two police helicopters. It's like right when I walked out into my parking lot, they flew over, and then there was a gang stalker in the parking lot waiting to get out of his car when I walked out there. And then I got to the health food store place, and there was like a guy in a white car with no license plate, and he was just sitting in his car, and he just sat in his car. I went in and I needed some Curamin. So I got some Curamin, and then I walked out. And like right when I walked out to get into my car, he got out of his car, and he was like walking around his car and stuff. It was a really, really weird morning. Odin Wooten says some of those 5G bands are strictly for military use. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean they're building they keep building the infrastructure up to target people, and yet we're still kind of in this area where it's like, oh, we can't talk about it, it's mental illness or whatever, but it's just being built up all around the world. Hey, Deb full of grace, how are you doing? Lion in the Lamb says 5G will kill kill all the birds. They did a test and it killed all the birds in one area. That is in the Bible. It's the Hosea 4 prophecy. Okay. Also, like when this infrastructure was being built up before 5G, a lot of bees were dying everywhere, and I think that had to do with with non-ionized microwave or just directed energy kind of filling the atmosphere because they're using all these ground radars and stuff, and I think bees communicate with electromagnetic frequency, and I think the bees were dying. They were just being overloaded by this infrastructure that's being built around the world, Oh, Deadpool Gray says, I'm on 5G already on my phone. Ooh. I've got like a 6S. I think I'm on 4G. And my attacker's heated up, and I'm pretty sure, like, if I ever put it in my lap or something, they'll heat it up, and it'll like heat my lap up. So it's not good, Lining the Lamp says, how about the FEMA train tracks going nowhere in California? I didn't hear about that. Hey, Becky. Becky K says, I had all this going on in Cali. I moved to Indiana, but it's still going on. It isn't as bad. Yeah, I hear California is really bad. It seems to do all of these like federalized informant programs. It seems to do all these things first. It seems to me like Oregon, California, New York are the worst in Florida. It seems like those are like three of the worst, and they're all by water, which kind of makes me think maybe there's some lines, like there's lines under the ocean, or there's some kind of apparatuses out in the ocean that can target people too, like radar out in the ocean. I kind of want to get started, guys. I'll answer that text later. I want to get started. My friend sent me this awesome prayer. Blair sent me this awesome prayer. He says, okay, so I'm going to start the prayer. So I'm going to start the prayer in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, in the name of Jesus Christ. It says, a morning prayer I'm drawn to is, and I really need this right now. Like I'm feeling pretty good. Hey, Future Knowledge. Future Knowledge says, hello, Kyle, and everyone else. Hey, Jeff. I just got off the phone with Jeff. He's using the ZBS driver, and we're kind of planning. Maybe he'll come on this week. It's so weird when people like text me like right when I start a live stream. It makes me really paranoid. Whatever. Okay. So we started the prayer. A morning prayer I've been drawn to is, Lord, grant me your spiritual armor so that I might stand the day. And when the day is done, and this is, Deb said it the last live stream, right? Do everything that you can do. And when you have done everything that you can do, then stand. And I loved it. I love that, Deb. I love that, Deb. So, Lord, grant me your spiritual armor so that I might stand the day. And when the day is done, stand to the glory of your name. Lord, please wrap the belt of truth around my waist. Shod my feet with the feet shods of the gospel of peace. Grant me the breastplate of righteousness, love, and faithfulness, the helmet of salvation and hope, along with the shield of faith, to extinguish all the fiery dart of the evil one, and the sword of spirit, which is your word. Lord, grant me wisdom, input within me the mind of Christ. Grant me a sound mind, full of knowledge and understanding. I want to pray that again. Lord, grant me wisdom, input within me the mind of Christ. We all need the mind of Christ right now because we're being hit with these neuro weapons. Grant me a sound mind full of knowledge and understanding. Fill my heart with love for you, your way, and all those you bring across my path. In Jesus' name, amen. Let me text this person back real quick. And I hope everybody's doing good. I hope y'all are finding some, solutions to fence, or if not, I hope God's giving you the strength to get through this stuff. Jeff O says, I can't wait to share the great ZVS news to you guys later this week. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I need a lot more people. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say I need a lot more people. We need a lot more people to try it, because it seems like, I mean, just me going, oh, this works. People, like, I try a lot of stuff, and I'm going to keep doing that. But I think that may kind of put people off when I'm like, oh, this new thing works, right? Because I try so many things and so many things work for me. So people might be like, he's just saying that or whatever. So I really want some other people who maybe haven't tried a lot of the other defenses to try this stuff. But Jeff has tried Dave Case's CD and this. Lion and the Lamb says, Kyle, do you have the link to the original video of the device you made? The German TI, I can find that. Let me find that, and let me see if I can find that. I don't want to find it right now, Lion and Lamb, but I will. I'll find it, and then I'll on the beginning of my next live stream, I'll like put that in chat. So I said hey to everybody. Hey, Truth Scene, how you doing, brother? Everybody check out the Truth Scenes channel. He's making videos. Oh, I forgot to end the prayer. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, in the name of Jesus Christ. I really like that prayer. I really like the idea of the armor of God. I want my practical armor, and then I want my spiritual armor. The armor of God, and I want to use both of them. I seriously, like, I did some videos, like when I did a video yesterday of my vehicular stalking, it kind of slowed down, but man, I have been getting sheriff's cars, postal workers with one light. I've been getting people following me out of my condo with one light, helicopters flying over me. So I don't know what's going on. Like my stalking's usually not this bad. The only thing I can think of is like, oh, I feel physically better, so they need to, they need to keep discrediting me and keep stressing me out. Odin Luton says that's why the Nazis shaved their heads, same in ancient Egypt. Wait, why is that, Odin Luton? Is it because some kind of energy thing? Well, let me start with this, guys. This is from The Advocate, and my 90-year-old grandmother, because I talked to her about like, oh, things are getting crazy, Grandma. Technology is just out of control. Surveillance is out of control, and you wouldn't believe the things that they can do with this wireless energy, that they use for computers, for your computer and the internet and things like that. And so she's kind of like, I guess just to kind of connect with me, she's looking up articles in the local newspaper. 90-year-old grandma, if my 90-year-old grandmother can understand how AI surveillance is proliferating, I think that everybody in the world should. 90-year-old grandmother that didn't even have computers around when she was born, if she can understand how bad things are getting, I think that, pretty much everybody in the world should be able to get this. Okay, so Odin Luton says frequency war, silent weapons. Everyone has a vibrational frequency. Yeah, we all have like a unique vibrational frequency. I think that's what they tap into. Like I get your brain's frequency or whatever, and then they use catalysts such as nanotechnology, nanoparticulates, non-consensual implants to intensify it. To intensify hitting us with the directed energy weapons and neuro weapon. Hey, Cheryl. Oh, hey, Cheryl. So I guess I don't want to really get into that right now, but that was horrible. That video that TC did was horrible. I'm very sorry that happened, and you didn't deserve that. And everyone here supports you, Cheryl. Well, I mean, that's kind of all I have to say about it. I think, think there were some comments on his last video or whatever. Okay, researchers, artificial intelligence surveillance is expanding worldwide. Growing number of countries following China's lead. So China's really big into this, into the surveillance and the targeting. Russia is too, and of course us. And then with little countries that they're allied with, they provide this technology and training so that they can do it to their own people. And then these bigger countries get data from those countries. So it's proliferating globally, the targeting and the surveillance and everything like that. This article has some of the tech companies that are providing this surveillance equipment all over the world. So we need to take note. We need to take note of these contractors. This is by Matt O'Brien. A growing number of countries are following China's lead in deploying artificial intelligence to track citizens, according to a research group's report published Tuesday. The Carnegie Endowment for International Peace says at least 75 countries are actively using AI tools such as facial recognition for surveillance. The index of countries where some form of AI surveillance is used includes liberal democracies such as the United States and France, as well as more autocratic regimes. Relying on a survey of public records and media reports, the report says Chinese tech companies led by Huawei, I'm going to type, well, Huawei and Hikvision. Huawei and Hikvision. I'm going to type these in the chat. Huawei. That's one I. And Hikvision. Suppliers of. Did I write that in right? Suppliers of surveillance, AI surveillance technology. Surveillance tech. Okay, so led by Huawei and Hikvision are supplying much of the AI surveillance technology to countries around the world. Other companies such as Japan's NEC and US-based IBM, Palantir, and Cisco are also major international providers of AI surveillance. So I'm going to write those into NEC. What is it? NEC, IBM, Palantir, and Cisco. Palantir and Cisco. So these are some companies we need to keep our eyes on. Because they're contractors that are providing manufacturing and providing some of the AI surveillance around the world. The report encompasses a broad range of AI tools that have some public safety component. The group's index doesn't distinguish between legitimate public safety. The group's index doesn't distinguish between legitimate public safety tools and unlawful or harmful uses, such as spying on political opponents or spying on citizens and targeting citizens with that surveillance, surveilling them and then attacking them with directed energy weapons. That it doesn't say that in the article, but I'm just going to input that. So I hope citizens will ask tougher questions. I hope so too. I hope citizens will ask tougher questions about how this type of technology is used and what type of impacts it will have, said the report's author, Stephen Feldstein, a Carnegie Endowment Fellow and Associate Professor at Boise State University. I hope that citizens start asking questions too, and I hope that we can all, non-TIs and TIs, start talking about this global surveillance, because it's not just being used to watch people and catch bad people. It's being used to target innocent citizens around the world in a global infrastructure where people can get their integrated directed energy weapon systems, any military industrial complex or agency, and then just use that infrastructure to target innocent citizens in their home, when they drive, when they're going on vacation, just everywhere, everywhere. Hey, Ari Walmsley says, I saw a guy walking around with a black visual virtual reality glasses on and literally walking around with it on you. With a black visual virtual reality glasses. Odin Wooten says, I believe that cloth Muslims wear is actually EMF protected. Kind of strange, but when our woman got rights, there's lost rights. I'm certain there's some correlation. I never thought about that. It'd be interesting if they were protecting their women like that. I don't know about that, Odin. Where'd you hear that? Hey, John Marie. John Marie Bizzo says, these psychos using frequencies to manipulate weather and earthquakes, they've been working over the ring of fire. If it goes, Yellowstone will go with it, and it won't matter. Yeah, there's so many huge tyrannical, big fires being started, earthquakes, hurricanes that they're manufacturing. I try and talk about my parents with that, like these hurricanes that are, coming into the Gulf and then coming into the East Coast. We usually don't have a lot of hurricanes on the East Coast in a row like that. And I try and say, man, they can create a hurricane out in the ocean with HAARP, and then it can just roll in. They can direct the hurricane, and people are just like, oh, no, they can't do that. That's crazy talk. People really need to start talking about this stuff seriously. Many of the projects cited in Feldstein's report are smart city systems in which a municipal government installs an array of sensors, cameras, and other internet-connected devices to gather information and communicate with one another. Huawei is a lead provider of such platforms, which can be used to manage traffic or save energy, but which are increasingly also used for public surveillance and security, Feldstein said. Yeah, and I've noticed it, like, I think that I am being targeted by Arcadis, Arcadis, and they're a very diversified tech company, and they work on energy grids. Like, so a lot of these contractors and people involved in this, like the Department of Energy is probably involved in this because they help to upkeep the grids and upkeep the infrastructure that's murdering citizens around the world. This is all like these agencies and these agencies and companies that everybody that can do whatever they want because they're lobbying senators and representatives, and so they can get the rules made so they don't have to have anything tested for public safety, and they get money, and the senators and representatives don't even know what they're putting money into when it's murdering citizens. And I just saw a video. I think I'm going to do a video on this, but somebody in England, I think, was pulling apart a street light, and it had these huge capacitors. It had way more capacity than it needed. It had like 400 and something volts, and it wasn't just needed for lights. Like, it was being used as a weapon. So street lights are actually putting out harmful directed energy to destroy people's cells when they're just walking. So and we talk about this, but everybody's targeted. Like, everybody in the world is targeted. If you live in a regular city, you're targeted. You're targeted by something, either your phone or street lights or anything like that. We are a huge extreme version of this genocide, this soft kill, this slow kill, right? Artist of Ilian says, Kyle, I want to start a website that exposes child trafficking and traffickers. I think that's a great idea. Elion. It's a great idea. I think it's the two number, well, they're intertwined, really. The neuroweapons and directed energy weapon torture, they do it to kids. So that's child trafficking, basically. And then satanic child trafficking, I think they're the two worst problems in the world. The two worst problems in the world. Future Knowledge says, Deborah Tavares is woke. Yes, I'd really recommend everything that she puts out. And I think she's being murdered. I think that she's being targeted extremely hard because of the work that she does. and I think it wears her out. I think she's a danger to this system. Okay, Jeff said Cheryl has to go, but she said she loves us all. Oh, I wish she wouldn't go. Okay, well, all right, Cheryl. Well, we'll see you on the next live stream. John Marie Bizot says, it is what it is. Kyle, send those naysayers to Mike Morales on YouTube. Okay. I don't know who Mike Morales is, but I'm going to send them there. I'm going to send the naysayers there. The Truth Scene says, you mentioned states closer to water heavily targeted. I can say when I lived in Florida, targeting was much more intense, but now that I'm in Georgia, mountains much less, by over 50%. Yeah, Truth Scene, I've really questioned that, because you think about it, California, Oregon, New York, and this guy, I forgot his name, but he's not targeted, but he like helps targeted individuals. He had a theory that there were underground cables and also platforms in the ocean that had like transceivers and things like that, ground radar in the ocean. And that's why people in these places near water, there were many more targeted individuals, because they had more infrastructure out in the water to target some of these people. It's a theory. I don't know. I can't prove it 100%, but it really makes a lot of sense that there's some things in the ocean that are part of this grid that they can target people more with. Hey, gang stalking simulation. Gang stalking simulation says gang stalkers are not demons and ghosts. They're just puppets that sold out for some quick cash and or drugs. Yeah. And I mean, there's those gang stalkers, but then you got like the people who are microwaving us on shift work, and they're making, me and somebody else were talking about it, and we think they probably make around like $100,000 a year. Could be more, could be a little bit less, but we think they make a pretty good salary, probably ex-military Masons, and then they get hooked up with these contractors. They do shift work, it's kind of like a business military operation, murdering a citizen, surveilling a citizen, using the neuro weapons to map the brain, to try and see what they can get the human being to do. I guess the target, call it the target. Hey, Charlie Brown. Deb Full of Grace says there are underground bases everywhere. Fact, Deb. Yes. And that's where they do it. I think that they don't just have these integrated weapon systems in corporate buildings. I think that the contractors have corporate buildings where they do business, and then like Deb was saying, there are underground bases everywhere. I think that these integrated weapon systems, they are controlled, but they're using the infrastructure, right? So it's just like my computer's connected to the internet or whatever. They have these integrated weapons platforms, and I think they're underground, but then it connects to the above ground infrastructure to actually target us. That's kind of how I think it works. Once again, though, that's kind of a theory. Okay, so Feldstein said he was surprised by how many democratic governments in Europe and elsewhere are racing ahead to install AI surveillance such as facial recognition, automated border controls, and algorithmic tools to predict when crimes might occur. So we're Minority Report, but it's worse than Minority Report because my attackers want me to commit a crime. They're microwaving me and messing with my head and everything like that, and they want me to go out and do something crazy. So it's not only Minority Report, hey, how can we predict crimes? How can we create crimes? How can we make people create crimes? How can we make somebody go do a mass shooting? And that's fact. That's fact. If somebody, like a non-target individual, doesn't want to know about that, that's too bad, because it's fact. These are false flags. It's a false flag society where these evil satanic people think that creating some kind of crisis is just as good. It's just as good to get control over people as just a crisis happening and doing the right thing. They could care less. They have no morals. They have no morals. They have even less than no morals. They have negative morals. Hey, Kelly Cahoon says, I love your channel. I'm sorry for what you go through. I'm in the same boat with the V2K. Please keep your channel going. Thank you for your time and your patience. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing okay, and I still hear the V2K. It's off to the side. Let's see what they're saying right now. Y'all want to see what they're saying? The guy just said, "Yeah, yeah, we need to put him away." And then the guy said, "Yeah, he's an asshole." And then the woman said, "Turn it off." It's really low. It's really low because of the ZVS driver, and then the hearing aids, and then the transcranial stimulation. But I can make out what they're saying by the tone of it, by the Okay, the woman just said, "I don't want to do this anymore." She said, "You're hurting him." I think it's a lot of chatterbox today. I don't think I have them typing in manually. Okay, so I thought it would be this. So this is Feldstein. This is the guy that did the report from the Carnegie Endowment Fellow and Associate Professor at Boise State University. It says, I thought it would be most centered in the Gulf states or countries in China's orbit, Feldstein said. And then there's like a picture. I don't know if y'all can see this picture. And that's in China. The caption says, commuters walk by surveillance cameras installed at a walkway between two subway stations in Beijing. The Carnegie Endowment for International Peace says in a report that at least 75 countries are actively using AI tools such as facial recognition for surveillance. Now, they're also using a lot more. You know, they're using through the wall radar, ground radar. They're using probably 5G millimeter wave to actually do surveillance and hit people, and they're torturing people, right? They're torturing us. They're trying to do mind control, trying to create violence in bad situations. Hey Tanya, hey Wayne. So Truthstein says, I guess when I say targeting is less in Georgia where I live, just because I have much less contact with the public. Targeting with EMF still the same, maybe a little less. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I went to Green Bank, West Virginia, and for a week the directed energy weapon torture was less. It was like lower down, but then after a week it went back up, and then after a couple of days, not a week but like 4 days, people in the small town of Green Bank, West Virginia were gang stalking me, and they were gang stalking me more than Baton Rouge because it seemed to be something novel to them. Like the people doing it, they didn't seem to have a bunch of targets in the area. So it seemed like I was like a target that was visiting, and they didn't really, this was their chance to do it, right? And I'm not sure about that because there may be a lot of targets living in that area, but it was bad. Like the gang stalking was worse. People were more excited to do it, it seemed like. Hey, Messenger of the Cross, man, how you doing, brother? I've missed you, man. Messengers Across says, Vulcan, what's up, dude? Nothing much, man. I'm just, doing a little live stream, kind of trying to get through everything. ZVS driver's working really well. Messengers Across says, they fried my brain last night, pulsing headache, burning on bottoms of feet and palms of hand. Messenger, are you trying Dave Case's CD, less EMF headgear, grounding? You gotta start using those defenses, man. You can do it. Like you can do it and really tone it down. Because if you don't tone it down, they're just going to keep building it up. See, what happens is they're hooking into the brain and the nervous system. So if you're not doing anything to attenuate it, it's gonna get worse and worse and worse. They're gonna hook into you more and more and more, and be able to, when they hit you with external hits, they'll be able to increase your nervous system pain through remote neural manipulation. So you got to use Dave Case's CD. Try and get like one of these hats or some headgear. And then I would do the ZVS driver, guys. We're going to talk about the ZVS driver a lot. So people who are like, I just don't know how to do it, we're going to talk about it more. I'm going to focus on that because it's a really, really good solution. Hey, strong-minded individual says, I notice that they get all excited when you react. It's why they do what they do, and our reactions are being recorded in live stream. I don't know if they're being live streamed. They're probably being surveilled, strong-minded individual. I don't know about this live stream stuff. I don't believe that. I don't. None of my research has showed that. But yeah, they do surveil. That's why if you ignore the gang stalking, you'll notice like if you keep ignoring it with somebody, they'll kind of taper off because you're right. They want that reaction. They want you to get mad. They need you to get mad or say something to them so they can keep justifying doing it because it's a false flag. They got to get that reaction. They got to get that violence. You know, the false flag has to work. So if we play it the right way, we just neutralize and ignore the things that don't matter and then go after the head of the Hydra. I'm going to nerd out for a second. So I played this game called Dante's Inferno. It's a kind of an old game, but they made this cartoon where he has to like kill Satan, right? And Satan's this huge beast, and Satan's this huge beast in the Dante. It's like a take on the Dante's Inferno, the book, but it's like he has a big sword and everything like that. And so Satan's this huge guy, and so there's these stone steps, and he just keeps jumping up the stone steps, heading for the head of Satan, right? And he cuts it off. So I mean, that's what we kind of got to do. We got to kind of jump up these stone blocks, you know, kind of ignoring the things that are supposed to distract us, and then cut the head of the Hydra off, you know, which is, I think cutting the head of the Hydra off is, you know, stopping this program. But for us, it means giving people awareness about the bigger thing, about the murder, about the torture and the murder. Because, you know, as I've been gang stalked more, like I'm probably going to make some more videos, but I think all in all, getting the gang stalking on tape, I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm saying it probably will discredit me a little bit. You know, all these things that I'm doing, go and see Dr. Hoffer, you know, I'm going to, you know, get in contact with the University of Pennsylvania, and then I'm putting out videos with like one light cars following me. It's supposed to discredit us, you know. Not saying not to get evidence and videotape it, but it does. It does to non-targeted individuals. But I mean, who cares? I mean, people have to know about all of this stuff, you know. Odin Wooten says, I need a sailboat or a submarine. Let me tell you, Odin, one of my friends, Corey, Corey's channel is The Needs of the Few. Wait, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. That's Corey's channel. He just went on a submarine and it went like 100 feet below water. Let me read his text to you guys. I read it the other day, but he went into a submarine on one of his vacations, and he said that it made no difference at all. That it made no difference at all. Let's see if I can find it. He also sent me this United Nations Human Rights Office of the High Commissioner call for submissions on psychological torture and ill treatment. So we all need to do that. I'm going to make a separate little video just for that, and I'm probably going to do that either today or tomorrow. Yeah, he said the sub wasn't. Wait, let me see. Yeah, he said the sub wasn't effective at all, but we only went down 100 feet in the water, but we were completely surrounded by steel and covered in 100 feet of highly conductive salt water. Guess I need it to be deeper. So apparently that didn't work. You know what I'm thinking though? You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that if you're in a submarine, it's going to have transceivers in it. You know, it's going to have certain transceivers and, you know, like that would be on a microwave tower or something that they could probably patch into and hit you with them. It'd probably have some kind of electrical equipment or something that could hit you, or they could use to bounce frequencies off of. I'm not sure. John Marie Bizot says, in Oregon, Washington, and California, we are dealing with chemtrails and microwaves. That's just from weather warfare. Yeah, and it's you know, it's not just weather warfare. There's many angles. Like chemtrails creates artificial global warming. It also helps when they're shooting ground radar. ground or over the horizon radar. Over the horizon radar is a radar that hits the ionosphere and then comes back down to hit a target. So chemtrails also help that. Also, chemtrails, we breathe it in. All the humans that are under chemtrails breathe it in, and there's aluminum in it, and barium, arsenic, I think, and then nanotechnology also. Small little, I don't know if it's actually nanotechnology, but small little chips the size of dust. Microchips are the size of dust, guys. And those microchips the size of dust, you breathe them in, they get into the lungs, then they go to your through the blood-brain barrier. So then we have little microchips that have passed through the blood-brain barrier that are the size of dust, and that's in chemtrails. I can't prove it, but it, it is a hypothesis. Deb Full of Grace says probably why whales and dolphins beach themselves. Yeah, they probably want to get out of that water. Probably has non-ionizing microwave radiation all up in the water, all in the oceans. Jeff O says, I knew a guy who scuba dove in the middle of nowhere and still had V2K, sometimes even louder, he said. Yeah, I've gone underwater in Florida. Like my parents have a place in Florida. And I would hear underwater, but I didn't go scuba diving. I'd kind of like to try it, but I bet you I would still hear, Hey, Tanya. Tanya says it goes through water and food too. Charlie Brown says, I like your scientific approach. At needs. Yeah, hey man. Hey, needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Hey Corey, how you doing, brother? Okay, needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. He says, I'm headed to the White House next to see if the targeting stops inside. Dude, that's awesome. So you're gonna take a trip to the White House? I bet you it will. I bet you it will. I went to a municipal court building one time, and it stopped when I went into the main room with the judge, but it didn't stop outside of that courtroom. Dude, I bet you it will stop in the White House. I bet you the White House has like a shield around it. But I wanted to say, like, the chemtrails are used for a lot of stuff, for weather warfare, for creating, for weather warfare, for artificial global warming, for us breathing in certain things that are in chemtrails, and also for over the horizon radar. When they bounce it off the ionosphere, they've got those chemtrails, and there's certain things in the chemtrails which help the directed energy to keep its intensity, right, when it hits targets. Messenger of the Cross says, the stalkers are narcissist vampires. They enjoy feeding off your pain and extorting your weaknesses in order to fuel their sick ego. Yeah. Yes. It's very bad. I mean, this is the word. This is the big bad. This is the big bad, the most big bad that I've ever known. So satanic. And the sad thing is, like, I think a lot of these people who microwave us and stuff, they just don't believe in anything. And then Satan fills that void. That's why people make fun of Christians or whatever. And, oh, you've got little quaint beliefs. Christians, modern Christians are very peaceful and things work out well and they help people. And then people who believe in nothing end up hurting a lot of people because Satan fills that void. If you don't believe in a creator and get close to the creator. Hey, Drunken Ninja, sup Wolverines. How are all of you guys doing? I'm glad to see y'all here. I just hope y'all are doing well. I'm just telling y'all the ZVStra, I got it right here. I keep it on all the time. There's one thing that I'm probably gonna I'm taking Cymbalta because I want it to cooperate with my psychiatrist, and I've got like a lot of neuropathy from the targeting on this side, and it makes me feel really weird. It has some good effects, but I think that my attackers can use it to make my memory worse and do some funky stuff. Like my legs were heating up last night, and I've never had them heat up from the inside like they were. And I think that my attackers were actually utilizing this Cymbalta. So I got up real quick and I looked up Cymbalta because I was like checking to see if it had heavy metals in it. And I can't figure out if Cymbalta has any heavy metals in it. I don't think it does. but I'm not sure if it's a good idea. It's making me feel less anxious overall. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if we can really afford to take those kind of medications when our attackers can neurologically manipulate us. It could make things worse. Hey, Cheryl says Kyle heard some guy that was in the Navy was in a submarine and still heard V2K. Yeah, and I was talking about Corey too, and he still did too. Hey, Diana. Diana says, I believe in the more earth-based indigenous ceremonies. The indigenous are the most targeted and colonized still. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in the past, well, I know you're probably talking about something different, like some different indigenous tribes, but like, I mean, the Indians were completely wiped out in America. I'm always saying how America's so great. Yeah, it became great, but, the Indians were just completely genocided. Humanity has always been pretty evil, and there's always been really evil stuff. I think as Americans, we've been very protected all of our lives, and we kind of expect it. This happens to us, and we're like, this shouldn't happen. We should have justice because it's our society. But I think that this stuff has happened throughout human history, where humans create genocide and hurt people, and this is just where we're at, and we just have to fight from here. Sucks. Really sucks. Drunken Ninja says, that's not good. Are you able to get some sort of government housing? Okay, so you're responding to somebody else. Okay, this brings me into the next thing. And I hope you're doing well, Diana, because I know last time you were really, really under attack. So I hope you're doing better. The Truth Scene says Trump will not allow 5G at Mar-a-Lago or the White House. White House claims the old concrete won't allow it to work. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, right. Well, that brings me into my next article. Let me go into that, guys. I'm going to read this next article that my mom sent me. So my mom sent me this, and my grandma sent me, or cut out another one for me that she gave me. I'm going to read this, and let me open my tab though so I can see the chat room real quick. Okay. So this is from the Waking Times. Awakening, evolution, society, culture, earth, nature, food, science, mystery. So 5G, the global experiment without consent. And we're going to see how dangerous 5G is and how all these companies who are, building this infrastructure don't have to prove that it's safe at all. They just don't, there's no safety protocols or anything like that. Why would there be, huh? I mean, why just put the 5G up at schools and cook little children and make sure they can't have kids when they get older? I mean, we're really in the shit. We are really in the shit. It's unbelievable. I mean, this is like it's like a paradigm. It's like a Twilight Zone horror movie paradigm all the time. Did we slip into another reality? I mean, and this is just kind of a joke, but it's like, did they flip CERN on and then we just slip to this hell reality where we have this non-ionized microwave radiation infrastructure? That can't be true because there was microwaves, back way back, and like they were using them for weapons, in the 1950s, probably before the 1950s. So let me get started reading this. And my mom's weird, like she believes me, but I think this is what happens. Let me give you a good example, guys. My mom believes me about being hit with directed energy. She knows something's going on, right? But then, like when we went to Miami, I started talking about the gang stalking. I started talking about lights being changed on me. I started talking about, like, I did say something. We went to this restaurant, and just one of the restaurants we went to, The people in the restaurant were acting really weird. They were like waiting by the bathroom for me and stuff like that. And they were like, it was just a weird feeling. And I was afraid that they were going to poison my food. And I actually told her that. And so, like, she believes me that I'm getting hit by this stuff. But then when I add in the gang stalking stuff with it, she's like, she gets confused, right? And it's a really good proof of what that gang stalking is for. One of the angles of the gang stalking. Obviously, they just want to build up DHS fusion centers and get more control, federalize control, build a civilian army and stuff like that. But for targeted individuals, an angle of it is to make us look more insane. When these people do certain things, or this is a real reality of it. Because of what's happening to us, because we're being hit by directed energy weapons and neuro weapons, because we're being gang stalked, vehicularly stalked, and we don't know exactly the protocols. Like, we don't have the sheets that these gang stalkers get to say, oh, you do this and exactly this. So we don't know how far it goes, right? So when you're in a restaurant and people are gang stalking you and they actually are making your food, you don't know if they're going to poison you. Maybe they won't want, maybe they won't this time, but maybe they will. And so it's like, it makes us look paranoid, because sometimes it's like, we don't know. I don't know, like, are they going to poison me? Maybe they won't, but I don't know. I don't know how far it goes. And we get punished for being on this side of the murder and the gang stalking, and being like, I don't know how far it goes. That person could be trying to poison me, or could be COINTELPRO, and we get really punished for that, for something that is so natural. It's natural when you're facing something that you've never been told about, and it's this huge secret in society, people being murdered and tortured and surveilled and harassed and harassed and harassed and harassed. How far does it go? Because it's a building infrastructure. It's not like it's something from 1970 that's kind of fading out. This is building up now. Maybe that'll be maybe that'll be good, that it builds up so much people can't I'm forgetting the word. People can't deny it, that it's happening, and then we'll all just have to deal with it. Everybody in the world will have to deal. Everybody in the world is going to have to deal with this at one point or the other, unless the top of the pyramid gets what it wants and genocides, down to 1 million people or 500 million people or whatever. God, I hope not. Okay, I'm going to pull up my chat on my tablet, guys, so I can read this article. I'll give me 1 second. I got to take a sip of my drink. I think I'm going to take some kratom too. I didn't take my kratom today. I'm going to take Green Dragon. It's Green Dragon from CBD Kratom, but I've got to find a cheaper place to get it. I really like the green because it's like a mixture between the white and the red. I'll take a couple of those. I took my Curamin this morning. Okay. Let me pull up my page. Tanya says, yes, Kyle, when they wake up, they will be in shock. Yeah. Yes. I don't see how people aren't waking. I think people are waking up. I think that people judge. We've been conditioned to say, oh, the mainstream media is talking about this, so this is what's going on in the world. everybody's been conditioned. People are understanding that there's more surveillance and there's some hanky-panky with murder and torture and genocide, but it's just not on the mainstream news. So people are kind of like, well, should I talk? Is that socially acceptable? So I think just more and more people are knowing about it, but the only avenues to talk about it are at rallies, on alternative media and stuff like that. And I really think the Cuban embassy attack and the China consulate, I've got some articles on some of those that I want to do another live stream on, but I think that those were miracles that came out and they talked about it. But then it's weird how you see that it's people are not interested in it anymore, right? It's just that mystery. And what the I think what the protocol in that one was to throw out so many different mainstream articles. Oh, it's crickets. Oh, it could be mass hysteria. Oh, it could be this. Oh, it could be that, and just kind of overwhelm, with cognitive dissonance what it could be, and then have the people come out like James Giordano and actually say what it is. But then normal people who aren't targeted are like, oh, well, they said it was crickets or this or that or this. So what it really is only that one little option, right? And then it kind of goes away. These people who are doing these lies, these false flags, all this deceit, this murder and stuff like that, they're practicing and practicing and practicing how to lie and practicing how to lie and practicing how to, lie in the mainstream media and practicing how to cover things up. And what's the scientific way when some truth comes out to throw a bunch of lies out and confuse the public about what's really going on? I mean, they've been at it so long, Jeff O says chemical shielding is also very effective. I will give my take on that as well in the next live stream. Yeah, Jeff, you can just come on and you can talk about your targeting, the ZVS driver. We'll just talk about a bunch of stuff. We'll just hang out for a while and talk. Messenger of the Cross says, this is so true. I cook for myself and don't eat out a lot. If you do, it's a small local restaurant, all healthy, all organic. 60% of crops in USA are GMO Monsanto. Yeah, I need to start cooking for myself. I need to start getting better food and cooking for myself. Hey, Trevor D. Hitchen says, hi, Jeff and Wayne. In all, I'm starting to not think that I've been a target for 48 years. Last to know, total Truman Show on this end without the happy ending. Anybody else think they bet on us like something? I really just think it's like it's a soft kill program. It's experimentation, like an angle of its experimentation, but they do go after creative thinkers, non-compliant thinkers, people that they don't want to just live their lives. They don't want empowered individuals to just live their lives. There was a video that got a lot of views by Gotham Nation. Why are targeted individuals targeted? And a lot of targeted individuals are they're very special. They have talents. They have a lot of talents. They're not compliant. So when bad things happen, somebody does something wrong, they usually call it out. And so what this targeting does, right? Because I want it to be a director and write books and live life. And, I do the right thing and tell people to do the right thing in my community. But instead, I'm dealing with this. I've been marginalized outside of society, always dealing with being murdered, always dealing with gang stalking. But you know what? The ironic thing is, okay, well, I'll deal with this. I'll do the other stuff that I want to do. I'll mix it in with this. I'll mix in my writing. I'll mix in maybe some film work. I haven't been able to do much great movie making or anything like that. But we've just got to, hey, we'll deal with this and we'll use our talents too, But I really like that video and I really think that it's true. I think that this is kind of like it's finding people who are going to make trouble for the tyrannical leadership in every country. That's a big part of it. It's a big angle of it. And then to experiment on those type of people. Wayne Moore says, we are constantly viewed and they no doubt place bets. Yeah, I guess I could see like the team surveilling me, making a bet on like what I'm going to do or not. But I think how I picture it is it's very military industrial. They have this, integrated directed energy weapon system, and they have shift workers, and it's like a job. It's like a job. And if you talk to another targeted individual or become really good friends with them, then they network with that team to put stuff in both of your heads and everything like that. And it's really the what they're doing with the people microwaving us. They are getting data, right? Data is being gotten and the brain is being mapped, but what they're doing is psyop. They're like, we're gonna torture and psyop and see what kind of stuff we can get to happen. See what people we can get to mistrust each other and stuff like that. So that's kind of the shift workers and the AI. That's its protocol. I guess it's just an angle, but I see that a lot. Messenger of the Cross says the EMF wave spectrum is the key, modulating the spec, blasting us with waves, radiating us 24/7. Silent murder. I can't scream loud enough, folks. Yes, scream loud. You're exactly right. You're exactly right, Messenger of the Cross. You're exactly right. Yeah. Oh, okay. Jeff O says, please try Tanya. I know it's just a CD, but it really does help. Yeah, it's hard to believe that a CD can help. It's hard to believe a lot of these defenses. It's very hard to believe that they could cut into how awful this feels, but it really does. But it really does. And he says, Jeff says, the spine pain is usually R&M from my experience. My experience too. I'll have spine pain, tingling, pressure, and just burning up the left side of my back. But then I use Dave Case's CD, and then a lot of that subsides. Hey, Don, how are you doing, brother? Don says chemical acting as if it's really microwave when it's VOC intake by skin, lungs, direct contact. Now, I do agree with Don that chemicals are used. And I wish that I remembered the thing that Dr. Hoffer told me. Something calcitrates, but he said the toxins that are put in our environments, in targeted individuals' environments, are key to how these directed energy weapons are going to work on us. But I think Don, well, we disagree. He thinks that like a lot of it's not weapons, it's chemicals, and you think you're being hit by weapons, but he knows that they're ground weapons and stuff like that. I'm glad you came, Don. I've missed you, brother. John Marie Bizot says, as long as the smart technology and Wi-Fi are in the area, you will still get V2K. It doesn't matter because the electric grid is weaponized. Yeah, I agree. I just think the only way to really neutralize this right now is to not go to a certain place in the world. It's to build your defensive field, use some passive shielding, like I say, rack it up. That's from that's what the Joker says in The Dark Knight. He's like, rack them up. And that's my idea. We are dealing with something kind of adaptive, the bidirectional stream of energy. Rack up those defenses, and I think that's how we're going to get the most relief. And then we've got to stop this program. We've got to just move forward, and maybe the program won't stop, but as long as we get more and more people understanding that it's happening and helping us, we can ride that wave. I have no doubt that people are going to come to an understanding of what's happening in the world, and this has to slow down. It has to slow down, or these military industrial complexes will be fighting the entire world, the entire public. If it doesn't slow down and it keeps going at this rate, then there will be riots in the street, and there will be, it won't just be peaceful rallies. And I'm not saying TIs, we're doing peaceful rallies. I'm saying keep doing it to more and more of the population, there's going to be like riots and stuff like that. And when it comes out, there could be riots. So I mean, the military industrial complexes, the DoD, the Pentagon, and the CIA, whoever decided to do this, right? They're like, okay, we need to kill and experiment on citizens, but hey, we don't want that information coming out because there might be riots or something. So we got to keep it secret. Why didn't you just not do it? Why didn't you just not start killing a bunch of people in this country and torturing them in other countries doing it? Why didn't you just maybe do things the right way, so it doesn't destroy the world, doesn't destroy a bunch of innocent families in every country? Why don't you do that? Yeah, yeah, maybe on second thought. Yeah. Messenger of the Cross says, my left ear has been going numb when the ringing. I lose my hearing, and only when I pick up the Bible. It is pain, compliance, behavior mod. The timing is amazing. It reveals it's organized, sanitized. Yeah, Messenger of the Cross. Please, if you're getting the ring in your ear, Messenger of the Cross, please use Dave Case CD. He's a Christian man. He's an inventor. Please, please use Dave Case CD. Just start using it all the time. If you're getting that ringing in the ears and it's just unbearable, please, please try it. I know that it's very hard to believe that some of these things can work, but it's weird stuff. The way that this interacts with our nervous system and our brain, it's very, very weird, and you'd be very, very surprised at what type of defenses will help. Seriously, because I've experienced it. Other people have experienced it. Like Jeff has experienced it too. Jackie Kelly, I'd have to agree. Jackie Kelly says all TIs are brilliant and gifted people. I really think so. And I love my chat so much. I really appreciate all you guys coming. And I only want to do live streams now because I'll do my live stream and then I look in the chat and everybody is really, really smart and they're really, really on top of this. Kind of wish more people would try my defenses because I hear a lot of people and they're just like, I'm dying and, this is really hard. But the smartest people and the most gifted. And that's what I was kind of talking about, that Gotham Nation video. It got like 1 million views. Did it get 1 million views? No, it got like 100. I know 600,000. I don't know. It got a lot of views. It got a ton of views. It's like why are targeted individuals targeted? And it says, we're called empowered individuals by the FBI that kind of runs the informant part of this, the COINTELPRO part of this, that angle. And we're called empowered individuals, people who will speak up when stuff is wrong. We're not compliant, we're what's the word for it? We're outspoken, a lot of us, and very creative. And usually people who are not compliant are super creative and super intelligent, have the right perspective on them. Yeah, let's see. Okay, Trevor D. Hitchin said, by bet on us, I mean life insurance time to failure. Yeah. And then Wayne Moore said, all of the above, Trev, how we react also. Yeah. Don Lovell says, it's multicultural like the regular army. Races do specialized things. Here, Hispanics are mostly doing the poisons, entries, and gels. Hey, Kyle. Hey, Lindy Elliger says, I've been getting a strong smell of pee coming from the bathroom. I don't pee on the floor. What's up with that? It might just be that they're remote neural manipulating you to the olfactory part of your brain where you smell urine. My attackers do that a lot, or they did do that a lot. They're not doing that so much now, but they will. What they'll do sometimes, I'll be sitting here and they'll make me smell like perfume or something like that. And I think they're kind of testing it. They're testing the connection with my brain because I'm using all these things. It's kind of weakening their connection. So they did something that they knew I would react to, and it was like a specific perfume. It might have even been the perfume of the woman on the shipboard. Messenger of the Cross says, Vulcan, hit that kratom. Green strain is good. White and green together even better, or white, green, and splash if red volley. Yeah. Kratom just works really good. It does something, because when I don't take kratom, I will get this pulling feeling in my upper neck, in my arms, in my legs and stuff like that. Mostly in my upper neck, in my arms. Sometimes they'll do my legs, like a pulling feeling. It's hard to describe. And Stacy gets it too. And when I take kratom, I don't get that at all. So it does something to the brain and nervous system where they're not able to do as much. It buffers down what our attackers are doing. Odin Wooten says, history repeats. The Holocaust was ran by the gander. And I'd like to say this. I saw this movie called Enemy with I can't remember his name. He's like one of my favorite actors. He was the guy in Donnie Darko, and he was a teacher in the movie Enemy. And he said everything in history happens twice. And I told my psychiatrist this. I said everything in history happens twice. The first time it's a tragedy. The second time it's a farce. So you think about like Mao Zedong's China or Nazi Germany, that happened way back in history, those genocides, they were tragic. They were really tragic. Think about this now. This is a farce. People are being murdered and people are treating them like they're mentally ill. It's a farce. This is a joke. I mean, it's not a funny joke like, haha, who cares? It's a tragedy, but it's also farcical. It's so retarded that it is farcical, you know. Yeah, John Marie Bizot says our world has electromagnetic fields, natural ones. We also have natural electromagnetic fields. We also have natural biofields. And this directed energy weapon torture and neuro weapon torture messes up our natural body field. Okay, Odin Wooten says, if I write only, only. The Holocaust was ran by the gander, it gets deleted. I don't know what that means, Odin. Tanya, thank you. Tanya says, thank God for you, Kyle, my angel. But you guys are my angels too. Stacy's my angel too. I know a lot of people are hurting, and I just want to decrease our suffering so that we can have victory in our lives. But guys, I don't know what's going to happen with all this. I mean, let me read this. I don't know what's going to happen like with this program and all this stuff. I'd like to say like it's going to end in the next couple of years. I really do think it is. But like what I'm starting to do is I'm just like, I don't care what happens with this program. I want to reduce the suffering of targeted individuals. We need to talk about it anyway. We need to try and stop it no matter what. But it's like, I don't know. I don't know what God has planned. Human beings have screwed the pooch on this one so bad. I kind of, yeah. I mean, I just don't know what's going to happen with all, because people are so ignorant out there, and the evil people are very smart. They've had a lot of time to organize. And I just don't know what God's plan is. I don't know if it's end times or whatever. I don't think God really wants me to. He doesn't really require me to know. We just got to do our best. I really hope this ends soon. I really hope this program ends soon. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do a video probably tomorrow on that. Corey sent me the UN, this thing we can send to the UN. So maybe I don't see how the UN's going to get involved and stop this, because most of the people working for the UN or speaking for the UN know about these programs, and want to use them for Agenda 21 and other things. So I mean, maybe they would help us. Maybe the UN would help us. Messenger of the Cross says, their stimulus is toxic and corrosive. They are chipping away at our lives by way of sabotage. It is good to not hold on so tightly to life. I learned to laugh in their faces. Yeah, we have to have a different perspective on life, because like I wanted different things in my life. But God has provided, God will provide things, for your life to be happy. God will provide things that you want in your life still. Okay, Messenger Cross says, Jean Marie, try some Red Mill baking soda, a teaspoon. Okay, John Marie, Jeanette said, been getting heartburn a lot lately. So Messenger Cross said, Jeanette, try some Red Mill baking soda, 1 teaspoon. Okay, let me start reading this article, guys. Just read the chats all day. Okay, wait, let me read Odin Wooten's text. You guys listen to Bill Cooper that wrote Behold a Pale Horse, and then listen to Facts Verse on YouTube. Yeah, and Wayne Morris says something. Okay, this will lead me into the article. Wayne Morris says 5G will mean more targets more voices, I hope. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they're just going to keep doing this, and they're just going to keep on pulling more people in, and then more people are just going to come out and talk about it. I guess that's the plan of these groups trying to do neuroweapon and directed energy experimentation. They're just like, hey, we're just going to run this thing into the ground. We're just going to do it to as many people as we can, and then we'll apologize for it. You know, they're thinking that they'll just apologize for it. Oh yeah, we did this experimentation and nobody will go down, right? Like, so if they plan on doing that, we need to make sure, like the world needs to make sure that people do go down for this. You know, Messenger Across says, "Behold a pale horse." YouTube free audio. Cool. Yeah, I've listened to that a bunch of times. Okay, let me get to this article, guys. So this is by Deborah Green, PhD, Waking Times. 5G, and she's, look, Children's Health Defense. 5G is the next generation of cell phone infrastructure, yet it is categorically different than its predecessors, 4G, LTE, 3G, 2G, etc. It is not a simple upgrade. It is a major increase and change in the type of wireless radiation to which we will all be exposed without consent, whether we use this service or not. And it's a millimeter wave. It's different from 4G because it's a millimeter wave. 5G builds on existing infrastructure and in addition uses extremely high millimeter wave frequencies of 24 gigahertz or more. These 5G signals don't travel far, so antennas will be installed approximately every 2 to 10 homes in residential neighborhoods. 5G will significantly increase our wireless RF radiation, radio frequency microwave exposure on a 24/7 and 365 days a year basis. The government's human exposure guidelines haven't been updated in more than 20 years. While radiation from cell phones, cordless phones, Wi-Fi, and wireless baby monitors has increased exponentially in that time. No safety studies. In a February 2019 U.S. Senate hearing, senior telecom executives admitted they have not done any safety testing on 5G, nor do they plan to do any. Currently, there are over 24 cities in the U.S. and countless cities abroad that have 5G, yet there is no scientific evidence to support any claim of safety for it. What related research does show is cause for alarm. Thousands of independent studies indicate adverse health impacts from wireless radiation. These range from cancer and sterility to DNA damage. The government's human exposure guidelines haven't been updated in more than 20 years, while radiation from cell phones, cordless phones, Wi-Fi, and wireless baby monitors has increased exponentially in that time. Planet Earth blanketed in radiation. That's what I'm seeing, not only from 5G, but this infrastructure that has microwave towers everywhere. I mean, this is going to make it worse, right? But even before 5G, basically the planet Earth, they're filling it up with radiation. They're filling up from a ground level to the ionosphere with electromagnetic frequencies flying around. And they're just building that infrastructure so it's more and more, you know. The 5G agenda is vast. It includes 200 billion transmitting objects, according to estimates. 200 billion transmitting objects, according to estimates. That will be part of the Internet of Things by 2020, with 1 trillion transmitting objects a few years later. 5G is meant to usher in more robotics, artificial intelligence, and autonomous vehicles, including 5G antennas installed inside cars, behind our heads and irradiating our brains, so we can talk to people in other vehicles and instruct our driverless cars on where to take us. 5G base stations and 5G devices will have multiple antennas and phased arrays. Phased arrays, that's an important, phased arrays is a very, very important term, because even these microwave towers have phased arrays. That's a very good term. These phased arrays are used to hit us with directed energy from microwave towers. They'll be used to hit people with these 5G devices that work together to emit focused phased array, phased array, phased array. Let's all remember that word, phased arrays. When we're describing these weapons, directed energy weapons, phased arrays that work together to emit focused, steerable, laser-like beams that track each other. So that sounds familiar, right? Because we're getting hit, like I get hit externally in the balls, sorry, in the groin, with a steerable beam. I get hit in other places too. It's better now because it's ZVS, but I'm just speaking in general. I want to read that again. 5G base stations and 5G devices will have multiple antennas in phased arrays that work together to emit focused, steerable, laser-like beams that track each other. Each 5G phone will function like a mini cell tower containing dozens of tiny antennas working together to track and aim a narrowly focused beam to search and connect with the nearest cell antenna. The FCC has adopted rules that permit those beams to be as much as 20 watts, 10 times more powerful than levels allowed on current phones. 10 times more powerful than levels allowed on current phones. And they're going to be putting up these, well, I mean, we all know this, right? They're going to be putting up these 5G poles every 2 to 10 houses. People have been talking about this for so long. And if people do not think, I guess there have been some mainstream media reports on this, but they just say it's not dangerous. So if people don't think that the mainstream media is controlled, you can look at this article and then look at what the mainstream media is saying, and you can get an idea. The mainstream media is completely controlled. Numerous independent studies on millimeter wave radiation already show a range of biological effects indicating that an increase in frequencies may worsen harmful effects. Read. Prominent biochemistry professor warns 5G is the stupidest idea in the history of the world. Alarming evidence of harm. More than 10,000 peer-reviewed scientific studies conducted by independent researchers from around the world demonstrate the harmful biological effects of wireless radiation. Because of their development stages, children are much more susceptible. In addition, wireless radiation effects are cumulative, putting children at great risk. Effects include, it's weird, this is one of the power plugs. This is one of the power plugs that you need for a ZVS driver. That's weird that it showed up on this article. Effects include detrimental effects on fetal and newborn development, detrimental effects on young children, brain tumors and other cancers, DNA damage and altered gene expression, neurological effects and cognitive impairment. And these sound really familiar to us because, we're being hit with directed energy. We're being hit with non-ionized microwave radiation all day. Impaired sperm function and quality, learning and memory deficits, cardiovascular disease, altered metabolism, and more. The mechanism of biological harm from wireless radiation were not well understood until Martin Paul, PhD, demonstrated how voltage-gated calcium channels are disrupted, resulting in excessive intracellular calcium ions affecting our cells. Numerous independent studies on millimeter wave radiation already show a range of biological effects, indicating that an increase in frequencies may worsen harmful effects. 5G is being touted as the next industrial revolution, when in fact it amounts to surveillance capitalism, in which intimate details of our lives are tracked, recorded, and sold to the highest bidder, irradiating us all the while. So she put that in the end of that sentence. I don't think she really understands purposefully, directly targeting people all the while is what it should say. Because this isn't just going to be used for surveillance, it's going to also be used to target people more severely. Because millimeter waves will burn. I mean, what we're being hit with already burns us really bad. But millimeter waves are way worse. Government corruption. The Telecommunications Act of 1996, Section 704, gives the telecom industry free rein and prohibits opposition to wireless infrastructure based on environmental effects, which includes health effects. So it's like Telecommunications Act of 1996, Section 704 says that the telecommunication industry can do whatever it wants, even if it kills people. Do you think they're maybe using that to maybe target people and murder them too? Maybe using a little loophole there. Thankfully, this prohibition is being challenged in court right now. Maybe that would change things for us as directly targeted individuals by directly targeted microwave. The telecom industry is supposed to be regulated by the Federal Communications Commission. However, the Harvard Center for Ethics describes the FCC as a captured agency that is dominated by the industry it is purported to regulate. The multi-trillion-dollar telecom industry wields massive lobbying power and formidable public influence through persuasive propagandist advertising and media presence promoting 5G. Money, money, money. We give you money, Senator, and you vote to say this isn't dangerous. You know, we give you money, Representative, and you vote to say this isn't dangerous. We have a bunch of money to do some propagandas, and I've showed some on my other channel. I showed a 5G they were like had the 4G phone together and then the 5G phone, and they were downloading stuff, and the 5G phone downloaded it like 2 seconds faster. 2 seconds faster, and that's all they talked about. They didn't talk about the danger of it or anything like that. Just it's 2 seconds faster. We need that 2 seconds. We need to get that information that we're gonna forget immediately because we have the attention spans of goldfish. We need that extra information 2 seconds faster so we can immediately forget it. in the information age, data drives the economy. 5G is being touted as the next industrial revolution, when in fact it amounts to surveillance. Okay, I already read that. Read, UN staffer warns that 5G is a war on humanity. Couldn't be more true. UN staffer, maybe we need to do that UN thing no matter what. If they help or not, we need to all send those in. I'm gonna do a video on that and fill mine out. UN staffer warns that 5G is a war on humanity. Let's irradiate the sky too. In addition to millions of new base stations on Earth, 5G includes an eventual 20,000 plus satellites in low orbit, affecting the ionosphere. Players include Elon Musk's SpaceX, OneWeb, and Amazon. At this time, 66. I wonder if that was by chance that they put 66 5G satellites up. At this time, 66 5G satellites have already been launched, with more on the way. You think 66 is kind of like, I mean, it's a cartel signaling. You know, why would they stop at 66? Why wouldn't they do like 68 or 70? Why wouldn't they do 70? The direct radiation from these satellites, combined with their contamination of our ionosphere, along with pollution of the global electrical circuit, would likely be catastrophic to all life on Earth. 5G threatens to provoke serious, irreversible effects on humans and permanent damage to all of Earth's ecosystems. Immediate measures must be taken to protect life in all of its forms. I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. Immediate measures must be taken to protect life in all of its forms. Yes, one solution is SafeG, wired public networks that allow for wireless inside homes and businesses without forcing it on everyone. All right, guys, so that was that article. Let's read some of the, let's read some of this. Peter Toss says, I see a lot of claims, yet not one-sided study, not one bit of proof, only claims and speculation. I am an amateur radio operator who experiments with millimeter and submillimeter communications for fun and enjoyment. I have to say what is most disturbing is the total lack of any credible study cited in these alarmist claims. I am not saying that there is no harmful effects. What I am saying is that as of right now, there's no proof of harmful effects. Bull crap, bull crap. 4G microwave towers give people tumors and mess up cells. This guy has to be some kind of plant that came, you know, somebody planted to come in and just act like there's no validity to this. If you aren't capable of seeing the difference, you need to walk away and go watch some cat videos on YouTube. Yeah, and you can tell he's like an agent or a plant because of the insult at the end. Peter Toth. Toth. Toth is some kind of Egyptian god, isn't it? Isn't Toth some kind of Egyptian god? Yeah. So okay, so TTTTNNNN said, did you click any of the links in the article? There are lots of studies cited, but for good measure, let's put 1,000 mini towers around your home and your children. See how you feel in 20 or 30 years. What is disturbing to me is that people like you are gung-ho to develop this infrastructure rapidly because you have not seen evidence that it is bad. By the time adverse effects start to manifest widespread, it will be too late to do anything about it because this is widespread global infrastructure being developed pretty instantaneously. Before you know it, these towers will be everywhere and their radiation will be everywhere. I don't want my life, my family's lives, my friends' lives, or the lives in nature to be an experiment for telecommunication companies. Let me add in there, contractors under the DoD will be using this 5G to target people because, like somebody was saying, I forgot who was saying it in chat, but they said that some of these 5G frequency bands are owned specifically by the military. I've really got to find some. My dad was into all of that. He was just an independent businessman, but he sold a telecommunications company, and then he was trying to buy up frequencies when all this targeting started. So I'm a little bit, I need to ask him some about that and maybe report on it because I think that's why I think they tried to kill him because he was in this court case. I think I've told y'all about that. But that's just another thing that I've got to check out. I'm not sure. But, okay, so we read that. Countless species are already going extinct. Nature is already shrinking. People around me already have cancers and ailments. The night sky is already saturated orange with light pollution. What's one more destructive man-made convenience? I agree. These people who are saying it's not dangerous are insane. They're insane. Okay, guys. Well, I just wanted to read you those articles. One from my grandma, one from my mom. Read that prayer by my friend. Let's see. Trevor says the 1% of the 1% wants 6 billion of us dead. We are the test subjects. It's really bad, y'all. I mean, this is like a worldwide this genocide, and a lot of these people participating have cult beliefs, and it's like a huge worldwide cult with all these different little organizations like the Masons and Zionists and people at the top of the pyramid, different organizations, and then it's like even these military operations / businesses with these contractors. The people who are doing this stuff have this cult mindset that they must murder people for the good of the country or the good of the technology or for the future so that people's brains will be able to turn off TVs and stuff like that, or for transhumanism. It's just like there are so many cult members in the world participating in this stuff. However, there are more good, normal people in the world, and that's why they're hiding this stuff. Therefore, our biggest thing is to make people aware, make good people aware so that we can all, do something about this stuff. Hey, Spirit Channel, man, I've been watching your videos. I'm not into like the Sam Hain thing and stuff, but I love it when you go to the CVS and you look at stuff. You have a great channel, Spirit Channel. We don't really have a lot of the same beliefs, but you're a great guy. Spirit Channel says, Kyle, my mom, who is 85, is now being targeted. She truly believes me now. She has been supportive over the past few years, but now she knows. That's awesome. That's great, Spirit Channel. Yeah, my mom is too. I kind of, I try to, she helped, we went to Dr. Hoffer, and then after that, I kind of just talked to her, and I'm not talking to her too much about this. I'm going to try and do some of it on my own because I get worried. This is what I worry about, Spirit Channel. When we get help from our moms and our families, they're seen as a threat. But you can't do anything about it. It's not your fault. It's not my fault that my mom's being targeted. But I'm like, oh, the more she knows, she might be in danger. Do you ever deal with that, Spirit Channel? Do you like get kind of scared? I don't know. I get kind of scared. Like the more she helps me, the more she's going to be hurt. But we really can't. I mean, we really can't do that to ourselves. We can't be like, oh well, if I talk to this person, they might get targeted, or if I talk to this targeted individual, they might get targeted worse. Or oh, if I get help from my family, But because I think really the way this does work, I think that this is from studying persons of interest and people getting on these lists. If there's a person of interest on a terrorist watch list, whoever they talk to, like their family or their friends, is deemed what's it called? They're deemed like known associates. Known associates, so they immediately start surveilling them actively and then targeting them if they want. So I just don't think there's any way out of it that everybody you communicate with, there's a chance that they might be targeted. And I don't even know how to deal with that. Yeah, Future Knowledge says, Psychic Bob, hello. Hello, Psychic Bob. I love your channel. Yeah, Spirit Channel. Psychic Bob says, yes, I do worry about that. Yeah, but it's just, we can't do anything. We got to love our families as much as we can, communicate with our families as much as we can, do our best. And you are, man, Bob, Psychic Bob, your channel is very awesome, and you give a lot of people a lot of joy, you give a lot of people a lot of joy. And it's amazing how you stay upbeat, is that a lot of times, like, I'll get very angry and agitated. I mean, I'm sure you do too, but it's really amazing the calm. Like, I watch your channel and it's very calm. You're very calm. You're very inviting, and that's really awesome. Like, you're a powerhouse, man. You're a powerhouse to be going through this targeting and keep doing what you love. Keep doing what you love. Cheryl's back. Wayne says Cheryl's back, bitches. Cheryl says, messing with my shisha, Jeff. Sally sold seashells. Sally sold seashells by the seashore. Is that Sally sold seashells by the seashore in the she shed? Sally sold seashells in the seashore by the seashell. I can't even do it. Sally sold seashells by the seashore by the sea shed. I did it once. Yeah, Jeff O says nobody messes with my Cheryl she shed plum bum baby bear. Yeah, plum bum baby bear, pumpkin pie. Yeah, Odin Wooten says it's the strangers blessings that count. Yeah. Erica Nario says, that's why we have to pray for the TI community and our loved ones. Yes, we must pray. We must pray all the time. As a matter of fact, guys, I think, Spirit Channel says, I refuse to let them stop me. The letters of so many fans have encouraged me to keep going. That's awesome. That's awesome, Spirit Channel. Yeah, people, subscribe to Spirit Channel. Subscribe to Spirit Channel. And I mean, I don't know, Psychic Bob, I'm a Christian, and I mean, I think the stuff that you do is pretty fun and it's not satanic. So, because y'all did the Sam Hain thing. I don't know. It's like, I like a lot of your stuff, but some of it I'm like, it's kind of borderline there. But I just don't think your channel's cool. Everybody subscribe to Spirit Channel. He's awesome. I'll talk to you offline. Like, email me so we can talk on the phone. Psychic Bob. Okay. Yeah, I know, Bob. Yeah, Spirit Channel said, Psychic Bob says, I'm not satanic, I'm a Wiccan. Yeah, I knew that. Bob. You're a very peaceful guy, and you're just, like, you believe in the good spiritual world. Like, I watch your videos, so I mean, your beliefs are pretty cool. Okay, let me finish off with the prayer that I really like, guys. And it's going to be for all TIs, everybody in a tyrannical situation or just a bad situation. Let me look it up real quick. It's my favorite prayer for perseverance. And this is like my favorite prayer. Or it is right now, till I find a new favorite prayer. Oh, I hope they didn't take it down. I thought this is where it was. It is prayer for endurance, and I'm looking up prayer for perseverance. Oh, here it is. Okay. I'll pull that up. This is like my favorite prayer right now, guys. It's just because, because this seems like a race that we're running, I really want to get to the end. This is what I want to do with the targeting. I'm running this race. Like I ran a race when I was little with Crohn's disease, and I finished that race pretty much. And then this is a race of targeting, and I'd like this race to end so I could begin my next race of like having a family and things like that. But I might have to, I don't know, I'm just going to run this race, and I think I'm going to have to start running that. Well, I've already started running that other race. So we've got to live. People say that all the time in chat. It's very important. We can't only survive this, we have to live. We have to find some kind of perspective or perception and work with God, right? And let God work with our spiritual side and our physical side so we can truly live through this. You can have happy moments and you can have good people in your life, so that's very important. But I like this prayer because of the kind of the race metaphor, because I do see this as kind of like a marathon, that we're running. And I do think at a certain point we're going to hit a finish line. I hope the finish line for this program. Yeah, Future Knowledge says, Psychic Bob, thank you for your kind words about Phil Lee. Yeah, me and somebody else, I think it was me and Stacy last night. We were talking about, targeted individuals that have died, and we should never forget them. Never forget them. Also remember Crystal Carrasco. Crystal Carrasco. She made a lot of YouTube videos, and she fell off a bridge. Like I was remembering her last night. Never forget them. That's who we fight for. That's what we're doing this for. We need it to be known what happened to them, to vindicate what they were fighting, to vindicate what they went through. Yeah, Wayne Moore says he seemed a good lad. Yeah, I mean he was like an artist type guy, pretty smart, and he just wanted to do his art. He just wanted to live a fun life, work out and stuff like that. He didn't want to bother anybody or anything like that. He's a really cool guy. I watched like all of his videos. Okay, guys, I'm going to end it with a prayer. End it with a prayer in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, in the name of Jesus Christ. Lord, this is not the race I imagined. It is certainly not the race I wanted. It is not romantic or heroic. It is brutally painful and dark and lonely. I need your strength to persevere. I am too weak and broken for this. I need you. I want to run this race and finish with dignity and grace, attesting to your strength within me. If you are truly near to the brokenhearted, be near to me today. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, in the name of Jesus Christ. All right, guys, that's going to be it today. Yeah, Wayne Moore says, rip Phil Leak. Hey, Puff. Yeah, you always come in at the, you always come at the end of my live stream, but you can just go to the beginning and watch it. And I'll be trying to do some more live streams in the next couple of days. I'm definitely doing a live stream with Jeff this weekend, and I've got some articles on remote neuroweapons and the and I kind of wanted to go over another thing from the Directed Energy Summit, and then also the Directed Energy Professional Society. Everybody look that up, because what the Directed Energy Professional Society is doing, they're trying to make everybody think that directed energy weapons are awesome and cool, and they want everybody to think they're really safe and fun, and build up interest in directed energy, but not tell people what they're really being used for. So I have a couple of things that I want to go over too. Hey, Sleeping Beauty, I didn't say hey to you. Hey, Sleeping Beauty. Sleeping Beauty says, thank you so much, Kyle. XO, back to you, Sleeping Beauty. I saw you earlier, but you weren't texting a lot. So I'm sorry if I didn't say hey to somebody. There's just so many. Hey, Autumn. Autumn says, hello, Kyle, and everyone. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and end it on that. I love you guys. Y'all just stay strong. Yeah, and I'll be doing some more live streams and stuff. I'm feeling some more energy, so we can get on here. Maybe the I don't know. I'll think about it, but I do want to do some more where it's like not me going through information, but where we hang out and there's chat, and then you guys can come on. I want to do some more of those, but I think the problem is like people who do the like next, that's what he would do every time. So people were kind of ready for it and they built up well. And I want to do a bunch of stuff. So when I do it, people aren't really ready to come on. I mean, people do, but it's just kind of like I got to kind of work it out and organize it, what's going to work best, or not. We can just play it by ear. We'll play it by ear. We'll do some things. Maybe I'll come on with information, and if somebody wants to come on, y'all can come on. That's kind of how I like to do things, just as long as we're talking about the subject, everybody's getting a voice, right? And we're getting some good solutions. We're feeling empowered. We want to feel empowered even though we're going through this stuff. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me. I love you guys, and I will see you on the next one. All right.